Okay, I guess we'll see how this goes. So I'm working on my music, and I've got a running list of things that I need to work on several pieces. But the longest list belongs to the longest song and the one I've been working on the longest as well. It's coming up on 8 years now that I've been working on this piece. And what I do is when I work on a piece of music, I mix it down to an MP3 and then listen to it in as many different places as I can on as many different speakers and stereos and headphones. And that gives me a good idea of what needs to come down in the mix. At the same time, I may decide, hey, the drums might be too loud, or the kick drum may be overpowering everything, or I can't hear the kick drum, or the strings are too far in the back, or whatever. I put it down. This is actually a running list I have on my email, an unsent email I have to myself. I've many of those actually, but this one especially is important. So I have also worked on this a little bit. Yeah, I was never, the drums were, I haven't looked at the drums in years, literally, like the overall, how loud they are, what kind of a statement they're trying to make. It's just too much. And I noticed it when I moved the levels down. I did that right out here. Yeah, the levels were kind of up here, the whole way through. Too much. I moved it down. I'm like, oh, great, that's better, that's better. Then I realized all of these were also super high. Drums were just obnoxious. So we had to cut those down a little bit. So yeah, same thing. And then I'll remind myself, hey, check this in the mix before you remove this from the list of things to do. And I may decide, hey, I was wrong, and then revert it or get it as close to the way it was. So a little bit about this piece now that I'm just going to go down the line. So the next thing I'm going to be working here. This piece is a rondo for those that are musically inclined or, pay attention. A rondo is a round. You do a verse, you do some B section, you go back to the A section, you go to a C section, you go to an A section, you go to a D section, and on and on and on. As long as you keep on going back to that A section. And the A section for this piece opens like, oh, I forgot to, opens like this. We'll fade in. And this is the main theme. Oh. You get the idea. So that's the A section that comes back over and over, and it's been kind of the anchor. So this part of the piece I wrote back in 2015, as I mentioned. I believe it was October, maybe. Who knows? And then I kind of said, I moved on. I wrote a B section to this, so it's the A section actually has an A and a B and an A. So that B section, but I kind of left it alone after that. Added a little bit on a couple years later. A couple years later, added a reprise of the A section that sounds like this. Nope, I lied, not that. Sounds like this. So the chord progression comes back. That C major 7, C major 9, E flat major 9, and does some weird shit. So anyway, that's the A section. That's what we're going to look at. That's what I'm going to mess around with now, because I need to, during the first half of the first A section, needs to be a little bit more something in the right channel. Okay, what the hell was I talking about? Sometimes I write these and I don't know what they mean. Okay. First half of first A section needs to be more something in the right channel, so we need to go all the way back here. You can also see how I added on. Like, this was the A section. These are the first 5 tracks I created in it. And as I moved on, things spread outward and downward. Anyway, funny that. So there's too much in the left channel. Okay, right here, piano's pan pretty hard left. Strings are a little bit right, but the strings don't come until measure 17. So there isn't a whole lot in the right channel until measure 17. So maybe I can get you in the right channel. Whoop. And then by the time the strings come in, it will have panned back left. Why the hell not? Let's give it a shot. Yeah, see, that really doesn't do it for me because the song has a fade in. Really, measure 9 is when the song begins. In my mind, that's how I feel, you know. The bass is all the way in, drums have faded in, whatever. So by this point, it's already back to center. So it's really not doing much. I would want to start it here, I think. Oh, well, hell's bells. I didn't know you could do that. Oh, you know, I got to turn off the move on. Oh, it's not on. Okay, well, that's weird. Anyway, pay no attention to me. So we'll start the fade in, or the left pan, I'm sorry. There. Okay. Okay, that might work. I mean, I won't know until I listen to it more, you know, especially with headphones. Headphones are really where my music is designed to be listened to on headphones most of the time. A lot of stuff can be played on just regular stereos. Car stereos, not as much. I do listen to my music on car stereos, specifically my car stereo, which really isn't all that great yet. But other car stereos as well. But it's really designed for headphones and surround sound. And that's what we've got right now. I've got a 5.1 surround. I know that's not the best way to produce music, and you're going to find that a lot of my methods are unconventional because I just do them. I do read. I got a lot of ideas for what I need to do with my kick drums, actually, recently by reading articles and stuff like that. But as far as this aspect of it, yeah, I kind of do my own thing. All right, so we've got that. Strings in the first C minor F section should come down. Yeah, I was actually thinking that. That's this. Oh, not this. Right here. Yeah. Much better. Maybe a little too far down. And I might toss a little bit of reverb on there. I am a echo and reverb junkie. Oh, it's already up to, see what I mean? Reverb's already at 100%. Well, holy shit. Yeah, so can't do much more with that. Actually, I can with GarageBand. Look how ugly that is, because I never set a key signature for this, because it changes. Really, it's technically in C, but there's only one. The only time I play anything that's from C major is on the first beat of the first measure of the phrase. And then I do other stuff. Okay, sidetracked. So I could put more reverb on it. I've got to get the here. And yeah, I could really, well, I guess I put more reverb. Is it 58? Remember that. Is it even on? Yeah. It's doing something. Ooh, hello. I think the entire dynamic of this piece just changed. Oh, that's the master track. Everything's got this. Oh, okay, so I got to go back. Oh, dear. So it was 58, right? And then wet was at like 20%? Oh, no. Sometimes this happens. Well, this could be a good or a bad thing. And I could decide, you know what, I don't want to risk it. Or I can back out. I can use Control-Z to undo. Some things, though, can't be undone. And then you kind of lose track of what you've done and undone. I think we'll just go with it like this. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Okay, so... Add more interesting piano stuff in the A-flat section. I did not set up my Casio, which I use for piano stuff as far as MIDI. Maybe some other time. I'm just working off of a 61-key MIDI controller, and I really haven't used that yet, so yeah, we'll do that later. Go over synth parts and add vibrato where it makes sense. Such a boring thing to do, but it's a good way of showing off some of the stuff that goes on with this piece, but I think it's a little too tedious for something like this, so I'll hold off. Piano solo in the middle, not as far of a pan, more reverb. Oh, this is probably my favorite part of the piece. I've got to show this off. So, a little bit of background. I kind of get lost. This is a large piece. Okay, no, I guessed right. Excellent. So right here was where the piece ended for a long time, and there are SoundCloud MP3s, because for a while that's how I kept my music available to myself. And then I realized, why the hell am I not using Google Drive? Duh, I don't know. So then I moved to Google Drive, but this is one of the last SoundCloud tracks I uploaded, ended right here. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to kind of try to bring back the A section. This is where I didn't know what to do next. This is before it became a rondo. So there was this B section that kind of sounds like... It's nice, you know. Not too far back, yeah. There's some cool Rhodes stuff that goes on during it. Anyway. And there's this little 4-measure interlude I use. That's kind of the, hey, we're going back to the A section callback. And then I sat down and played this. Not this part specifically, however. This part specifically is a copy of the electric piano part, the Rhodes part, from the original A section at the very beginning of the piece. It's a little bit different in that I've kind of replayed a couple chords to make it sound different and messed around a little bit with dynamics too. So let's move on a little bit. And then this part kind of, as you heard the main A section melody come back. This is the first reprise of the A section in the rondo form. But I do something a little bit different with it. The melody stays around, but it is definitely toyed with. Oh, no, I lied. I don't want to record. I mentioned that you're going to hear my favorite part of the piece. You will. But here's the... So I changed the rhythm a little bit on the F, E flat, D. And there's also a great synth solo. It's one of my more favorite synth solos that I've laid down, especially going through these chord progressions. That we're going from a B flat minor 9 to a G flat 6/9 to an A flat major 7 to a D flat 9, back into the C major. And this is the melody that kind of get thrown over it again. Ignore the enharmonic spellings. That's how GarageBand does it. Oh well. So One of my favorite parts through here. Skip ahead a little bit because this part. That's the part that I was referring to with this note right here. Piano solo in the middle section. It's not really a solo. That was it. It was what, 8 measures? Right? Where's the piano? But listen to what I do with it. So it pans over to the right. Then it pans back over to the left where it's been hanging out. I like to put the accompaniment on the left and the solo on the right. Usually, not always. So, nice little, but it's designed to stand out some. And that's what I'm kind of going for here. I don't want maybe to pan it as much and give it a little bit more reverb. I still want it to stand out. So I want more reverb. Well, I'm already set to reverb. Isn't that awesome? Let's jack it up to the max. Go over to pan. So maybe pan close to the center instead of close to the edge. Maybe. With everybody. All together now. Now this part. And then it goes on to a C section, I believe. Yeah, it doesn't go past C. When I bring back the A section, the piece is over. But by that point, you've already heard the song for 9.5 minutes. So, little side note, this is going to be split. So the first part that you heard, the first 4 minutes or so, will be the beginning of the album or song cycle or whatever once this is done. Then it fades out. It will fade back in on the A section reprise that we just looked at, the piano part, and then fade out till the end. So just a side note. Okay, well, let's see what else we got. I think that's a good one to listen to at the check 6/9 mix before removing. Maybe a new drum part during the piano section. Nah, let's look at something else. This has been fun. But let's look at something else. Save. Always save. Oh. Save. Always save. Now I will export song to disk. And I was actually I was showing my son some of the stuff I was working on this morning, driving him to day camp. And he said, this song's 2.5 hours long. He saw, at one point, GarageBand was using colons instead of slashes here, so it would be 6:9:23. There was a song I was working on that I worked on February 25th. So 2:25:. Yeah, John Sieber, downloads, and export. This takes a minute. It's also a 9.5 minute piece of music, so it's going to take even a little bit longer. But let's look at, while we're waiting, maybe some of the mixdowns I've got. So documents, no downloads, and then let's maybe look at something fun. Maybe we won't get to play with. Oh, let's look at one of my actual pieces of music. Let's talk about something I've already worked on that's done and very short and easy to talk about. Open with VLC. So I worked on this in 2021 and finished it up, and I've kind of released it, but I haven't really released it. This will be in the song cycle. There's a lot of panning going on in this piece too. This is the archetypal listen to this piece on headphones because John is weird song. And then we'll come back to that when we have another piece to mix down. Did I make any other changes? Well, let's just save it anyway. All right, before I open a project, let's look at what else we got. The marimba piece. No, I need to find something that we've got several things to work on. Fanfare for today. Working title. In a lot of cases, see, here we go, fragment. It's a 6/8 piece that is in C sharp minor. It's a 9/8 that's in C sharp major. I don't really name my pieces until I am absolutely required to, and even then, I'm just not very good at it. In some cases, I am. The Flying Car is a great name for that piece that you just heard. This one, however, was literally just a synth fanfare. It was just this here. For the longest time. That was all it was. And I threw a little bit of a pad behind it down here. Here together. There we go. And honestly, for a long time, it just sat there and I never thought I'd touch it again. But I was kind of looking through the pieces I already had out there in my folder of fragments and just half-completed thoughts, and sometimes completed thoughts that sounded like half-completed thoughts. And I picked it up and started playing with it again. I threw a piano part behind it, which you'll hear right here. And the piano part became its own thing. And that kind of led me down a couple other roads. So this piece was definitely not planned out in advance. Most of my pieces are not planned out in advance. I love this. Love my sus4 and my sus2 chords. That reminds me, a couple days ago I explained to Riley what a sus2 chord was, because he knows how chords are formed, but I haven't really gone too much into depth with it. So I explained that middle note can be moved around, and when it is, you can call it sus or whatever, which he liked, because he likes Among Us. Before I play with and look at and fix the shit I need to play with, look at, and fix, I want to talk about the piano part. So the piano part by itself, I want to move on too much. I don't want to give away the middle part. It's panned hard left, as you can see. It's got some reverb on it. But then there's an identical, almost, slight difference, identical Steinway Grand right below it. I say almost because if you look at, like, let's just say, measure 90 is a great example. Why am I not playing right down on downbeat 1 of measure 90, whereas on this piano part I am? Why the hell would I do that? Well, here's why. This Steinway, and of course I do already have a bunch of reverb and echo on the original, but this Steinway Grand piano track is an echo and designed to be a tinny little echo of the original Steinway. You may not even be able to hear it, so I'll turn it up. Oh. But when you put them together, again, this is one of those you gotta wear headphones for. I gotta go and make sure I didn't. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to go ahead and close this and not save my changes because I don't remember where those volumes were. And then I'm just going to reopen it. Sometimes in life, you just got to do that. Today is one of those times. Much better. Anyway, so that's a fun little thing. So now every time I make a change to the piano track, I've got to copy the whole piano track down, move it half a beat so that I get that half beat delay. But it's worth it. What am I working on here? Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Next up, dovetail that last lick into C minor, bring back the original A section and really build it. Ooh, do I want to compose for this? Or do we just want to work on stuff? No, because I've got to sit down and actually compose and think about what I want to do there. So let's just let's do the easy stuff. Pan piano slightly right. Okay, done. Again, I don't remember exactly why I wanted to pan it slightly right, but I'll pan it slightly right. Let's give it I did this already. Yeah, so I tried this once, don't need to do it, didn't like it. Second half. Sometimes I don't update the notes, so. Second half of A flat sparkling in the background. Ooh, that'll be fun. Let's do that. Second half of A flat synth solo, which of course happens right here-ish. Turn up the volume a little bit there. Right there. Okay, let's start it right about. Measure 74, but before we look at measure 74, I love this chord progression. Love it. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm in A flat, sort of. Okay, 60. Right there. There we go. Beginning of the phrase. Boom. A flat major 9. Boom. Same chord, but I'm just moving the bass. Actually, no, it's not the same chord. I dropped the B flat there, didn't I? So F major 9, or F minor 9. D flat. I know, C sharp. No, it's D flat. But again, the same structure here. Really, I'm just using the C minor as kind of the, you know, the only thing that's making it not C minor is the bass. Funny how that worked. Okay, so then come with this. What the hell is this? This is actually a D flat major chord with a G flat bass. Ignore what you see. That's what it's supposed to be. Then it is a G flat major with a C flat bass. Then D natural bass, A7 chord, A7 into E flat sus 4-ish kind of thing. Back in, so that's the 5, back into the 1, and then I'm back to the A flat major 9 stuff. Let's have a listen to that. Start measure 66. Actually, just that chord progression. I want you to hear just the chord progression. Oh, that's a D flat with an E flat bass. That's really what that is. But the fun thing about this is that the top note, F, G flat, G natural, A flat. Chromatic scale, bitches. And then, of course, the solo that goes over it. I don't know what the hell I was doing. Something has to go over those changes, though, right? So. Now, I said all that because this is the part we're working on. Measure 74, add something sparkly in the background. All right. Usually means I add a new track. Let's see what other stuff I've got as a possibility. Maybe octave. No, it's not sparkly. That's cheesy. GarageBand's great, by the way. There is a PC version, I think, but really what you need to do, save up a couple $100, buy a really old MacBook. Doesn't have to be that old. It doesn't have to be, it could be 2010, and you'll still be able to use it pretty much as well as any newer. This is 2017. And I've had this computer for, it was my work computer, and now it's my actual computer. So I've been using it for 4 years. Yeah. The reason I say that is because GarageBand's fucking great. Easy to use. There's no, it's just plug your stuff in, start playing. It comes with a ridiculous amount of sounds and effects and all kinds of stuff. And I want to do something sparkly. I could use a synth, but I think I'm going to try for something a little bit more. Here I go with the it needs to be a little bit warmer than that, though, right? Now let's play along, see what we got. It's too loud, that's for sure. That's what it, no. I wanted to try something a little bit more organic and natural sounding before I went into Synthland, because I don't want to say I rely on synthesizer sounds, but I adore them. I love the feel that you get when a really strong Moog synthesizer cuts through with a lead. Great example would be Heart of the Sunrise. There's some great little leads in there that just cut through. This is by Yes. Anyway, love a synthesizer. I'm going to try a couple more things before I give up on my natural, though. Does that really qualify as sparkly, though? I mean, EQing is fun. I'm not super great at it, but I know what I need to do to give something a little bit more sparkle. I know what area of the cosmos to at least aim for. Woo! Ooh. Sometimes it's fun to take a natural sound and make it not as natural, too. And extreme EQing is a way to do that. Bug it. Let's move it back to, remember, 74 was the part where I want to start sparkling. So, but what I like to do in cases like this, go back a little further and play a little bit before I get to that point. So maybe by that point I've got something. Actually, let's record. I'm not really in love with that, man. But the part wasn't terrible. Not doing a lot, just accenting. It's more of a percussive. I'm really using it as a percussion instrument, even though it's obviously a string instrument. Okay. Bass, no, I don't want bass. Ooh, plucked, so this could work. We might be close to it right now. Now, before I start, I want to say that even though this is like the one chink in the armor with GarageBand, it's got all these sounds, but sometimes these, like, you're kind of beholden to the ways that they want you to transform the sound. Now, you can also load VSTs and other, well, it's not VSTs, but you can load external sounds into GarageBand and use them, and I've done that, and that's great. So I mean, it's not like really a prohibitive thing, but as far as out of the box, that's the only real chink in the armor is, what if I want a harder pluck, What if I'm a kind of guy that likes to pluck hard? I have no option there. But let's try softer pluck. Sometimes you gotta pluck softly. Oh, small punchy might be it. Well, I don't know what the hell I just did. Control Z. Gotta love it. Okay. The part's not exactly all that, not a bag of chips anymore either. That's okay, I'll make it better. Yeah. Part needs to be better. Delete. Beleted, as my kid would used to say. I don't think it needs it. I don't know that finding the perfect sparkly sound is going to service this piece. And sometimes just saying, you know what, it's just not working, is not a bad idea. But that means there's plenty of other stuff we can work on. Let's say C section, bass drum patterns get a little busier gradually, so it's not too jarring. We'll move into the B section. Okay. Yes, that's true. So there's not a lot of drums in this piece yet. Again, it's unfinished. There is no ending or anything like that. So kind of comes in here. And this is it. So that if we're looking at the bass, let's editor. There we go. Much better. Much easier to see what's going on here. And it's also, this is piano roll I use most of the time. I actually don't use score. I use it very rarely. Just to show things, like to show like what a note is if I need to like arrangement. But really moving stuff around here is just a lot easier and it's a lot more precise too. Piano roll is great. So bass drum, tom, tom. Not a lot of bass drum until boom right here. Whoops. Sorry. So not a lot of bass drum for the first 8 or so measure, whatever, how many measures it is, until you get to here, and then it's just so buttery. I love this part. But it is kind of jarring, is what I was trying to tell myself at some point. So let's mix it up a little bit. Oops. Sometimes the control, the copy and paste can be weird. Copy. Paste. Thank you. And why did it do that? Okay. Try copying this one. Why is it throwing that line there? That's strange. It shouldn't be doing that. Crap. You know what? Don't save. Open existing project. Fanfare for today. And tomorrow if I never get through this. Damn. Slow jam. And we're back. I'm going to try copying it here. Okay. Not what I wanted to have happen. The copy and paste can really be strange. Oh well. Let's just ignore it for now. Nice. All right, well, we'll see how that goes. Okay. Bring out the reprise of the intro melody in the C minor section. Ah, yes. This is kind of a throwaway thing I did to kind of tie in. So there's a part at the beginning. You haven't heard the whole piece, obviously, so. There's this in the beginning. That doesn't come in, again, anywhere in the piece, or didn't, until recently. It was just kind of a throwaway. Sometimes I'll start recording and just kind of mess around for a little bit, figure out what I want to do, figure out what direction it needs to go. Then I'll actually start the riff or whatever I'm trying to do. In this case, I was trying to write a theme to build on, a riff. I did, eventually. But this was kind of my messing around, but I never really deleted it. Well, I don't need to copy it because I already did. I decided I did want to use it again. Right here. So I've got it. It's a great little callback. I can also use this to springboard back into the A section, which I think I'll do. I just don't know exactly how I want to get there just yet. The reason I have this note is because it's just kind of there. It just kind of arrives and doesn't really announce its arrival. So you're like, what the hell is this thing doing here? Get it out. But you don't want to get it out. So I'm wondering maybe if it's just buried in the mix because of the piano, or if it's maybe not EQ'd correctly. I don't know why it doesn't sound good. But I think I'm just going to start trying stuff until it works. Now I'm actually playing. There might be a little bit too much. So it's got some vibrato. Let me hear it again. I don't really think I can get it any less vibrato than that. It's just kind of tinny, you know? Not really tinny. Brassy. It's too brassy. It's too trumpety. I want French horn. That might be better. A little bit better. Equalizer. That's too bassy. It's too bassy. Okay. The only other place I'm using it is here. Which also is too, so it's really the voice itself that needs, matter of fact, let's move this. Yeah. Oh yeah. Those twin leads bounce off one another so much better that way. So let's keep that down too. But I also need to EQ it a little bit, and I think it's right here. Let's back out of those changes. Oh, dang. That's the other thing. EQ changes are not Control-Z-able. I just don't know if I like that sound for this. Chord. Controls. Oh, those are Control-Z-able. Would you look at that? Nice. Delay, reverb. Ugh. Okay, I want to try a different sound, but I don't want to make this any different. So I'm going to new track with duplicate settings it. Then I'm going to, well, I won't worry about copying anything yet. But first, now I'm going to start messing around with finding a different sound. And there's not a lot of thought put into this. I know generally what I want to have the sound like. Actually, you know what? I do want to copy the parts. Got them right, copy, okay. Because now I can play along. That is not bad. That kind of is, though. But what I could do is move that part up an octave. See, now this is a good place to use the score. No, it's too percussive. Well, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking with that. That ain't it either. That's a maybe. Maybe. But something needs to be done first. This is what we call airbrushing for music. I don't know if that's what we actually call it, but that's what I call it, because that's really what I'm doing. If you look, so it's in 6/8. 1, 2, 3. It's kind of hard. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So the downbeat, that's when the note should happen, right? But that doesn't always happen. This is supposed to happen right on downbeat 1 of 96. So it's not exactly lined up correctly. Well, fret not. I have a solution. Why is this not? I'm trying to make it small. There we go. Thank you. Quantizing. First, though, let's move these, because if I quantize now, it's going to do it wrong. Actually, that may be all I need to do. That might have done it. But anyway, I'll do it anyway. Quantizing is a way of telling your whatever program you're using, they're called DAWs, digital audio workstations, to align the played notes, and this is for MIDI triggers as well, like basically anything can be quantized, into the nearest whatever. In this case, nearest 16th note. So, let's zoom in a little bit. You're going to see these notes move just very slightly. Boom. Now they're all lined up exactly on beat. Sometimes I use that. Sometimes I leave it alone too. Sometimes I like to have just a slight difference. There's a couple places in the first track we used that looked at, the long one, where I've got twin leads, but I actually played them out instead of copying them and moving them up and down the scale where I needed them, because I wanted that. I wanted that little bit imperfection. You know, I don't think this is the way to go on this. I'm gonna bail out of trying to create a new synthesizer part. No, I don't want to do that just yet. One more try. Let's find something. Let's go to lead. Nope, not that. Maybe. I know it's a cop-out to use such a obvious synth sound, but... See, now when that comes out by itself, you hear that pew. See, now the tricky thing with this is a synthesizer that you have legato sounds and you have staccato sounds. So I hold down the note, and then I can move. I'm just holding down the E flat. There's no actual separation between those notes to the synthesizer, basically. But when I play like this, you hear that attack at the beginning of each note again. So what kind of effect do you want? I don't want that punchy effect, so what I can do is come over here, look a little bit closer at my notes, and just make them all longer. Since this is a monophonic synthesizer, it's not going to matter that those notes are overlapping so much. If I was playing this on the piano, it would sound terrible. Moving back down the octave. Great, now let's fade that in just a little bit. Seems like a gratuitous thing to do, like what's the point? But there is a point. I'm gonna fade it in so that I don't have that punchy because I don't want that punchy . Too much. Let's undo that recording. So what I decided to do, so the original track has, at the very end of this little lead, it's got a, well, you'll hear it. Kind of, wow. That is not happening on this track, so I need to add it. So that's what I'm doing real quick, in case anybody was wondering. But the trick is, well, this is the new synth sound. The trick is knowing just how much to do this before it sounds terrible. And terrible is subjective completely. Sometimes you want. But a lot of times you just want. So how far do I want that little flare at the end to go? That might have been the right amount. We'll see. I think I've got what I need for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save. Make the note that I changed this, and I did a lot more than just change that, but some of this stuff, I mean, I can maybe go back and undo it once it's done. If I make a big enough change, I make a different file. Like there are versions of songs that I basically, I fork. I create a fork and use the fork, and so I've got these deprecated projects that just kind of sit around on my hard drive, but whatever. All right, so we have save. Let's save again, because you never know. Export song to disk. Put it in downloads. That way I know where it's at. I know there's a way to tell GarageBand to go there all the time. I'm just not going to figure out what the hell that is right now. So let's finish listening to The Flying Car while that is done. Flying Car's loud. Solo number 2. This little break was an accident that I quantized. Here it comes. All right. Well, if you made it this far, thanks. Probably gonna do a couple more of these. I got a lot of shit to work on. So, see you at the next one.